Okay, everybody write 47 in the top right corner, and we're going to be learning about powers of 10. This one to me is actually a kind of fun lesson to do.
It's really easy.
It's kind of easy. Yeah, it is. Okay, so if you were to see 10 to the second power, okay, what this means is 10 times 10, okay, which equals 100. Okay, so what do you notice right off? Does anybody notice anything? Yes.
That the 10 and the 2, you have 2 zeros.
Yes. Okay, 10, when I square it, okay, it's going to have 2 zeros. Okay, so if I do 10 to the third power, what's it going to equal?
1,000.
1,000. Why?
Because there's 3
Because it's going to have 3 zeros, just like that 3. It's like us doing 10 times 10 times 10. And basically, you take each of these zeros and bring it over. Okay, so what would 10 to the fourth power be?
10,000.
10,000. Because I'm doing 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, which equals 4 zeros. Does everybody see how it works? So it's really quite simple, okay? However many exponent 4 is, that's how many zeros you have, okay? Pretty simple. All right, now, let's say we did a multiplication problem such as this. 10 to the third power times 10 to the third power. Okay. Now, what is this one going to give us?
1,000.
3 zeros, and this one's going to give us. So guess what you can do? You can actually add the exponents. So when we are multiplying powers of 10 to the power of 3, you can add your exponents. Okay? Anytime you're having 10 to the power of something, you can always add the exponents.
Does it have to be the same?
No. Nope. It can be different. Okay? So let's just say this had 4. My answer would be 10 to the 7th, which is really what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 zeros, which makes 10 million. Very good. Okay, so everybody see how we did that? It's really quite simple. All right? Everybody understand? All right, now, just like multiplying, you can add your exponents, and you may even want to write this down. When multiplying, how do I want to say that? Powers of 10. Let's do that. Powers of 10. Okay? You add the exponents. Okay? Now this time, we are going to divide. Okay? For example, 10 to the 5th divided by 10 to the 3rd. Okay? This one is divided by. So who thinks they know what we're going to do when we divide? Yeah. So when you divide powers of 10, you are going to subtract the exponents. Okay, write that down. So here, instead of saying 5 plus 3, what would I do? 5 minus 3. So my final answer would be 10 to the second power, which is 100. Okay? And the way you can see that, if it helps you to be able to see it visually, let's do 10 to the 5th power, which would give us 5 zeros, right? 5. Okay? Divided by 10 to the 3rd power, which gives us 3 zeros, right? And then if I were to cross out zeros, it would give me 100 over 1, which is our answer, or 10 to the 2nd power. Does everybody understand? Pretty simple. Okay. Pretty simple. All right. Now, we're going to take a number and put it in, how do we call it? Exponential? No, we're not doing that one yet. Expanded notation. So, for example, let's write 5,206 in expanded notation using powers of 10. Okay, so first of all, let's write it in standard notation. Okay, what would it be in standard notation?
5 times 1,000.
Or I'm sorry, expanded notation. Standard notation is already in there. That's the standard number. Okay, so expanded notation, what do I do?
5 times 1,000.
5 times, and what place is this in? 1,000. Okay, very good. Plus, who wants to do this one?
200.
Go for it, Lane.
2 times
100. Very good, because that's in the
Plus 6.
hundredths spot. Very good. And then what do we do?
600.
6 times 1. Why do we skip the 0? Because it has no value. Okay, so 6 times 1, right? Because it's in the ones place. Very good. Now, here's what I want you to see. From what we learned just a while ago, 1,000 is really 10 to the what power?
Third power.
Third power. How do we know it's of the third power?
Because of 3 zeros.
Because there's 1, 2, 3 zeros. So we're going to say 5 times 10 to the third power. Does everybody understand that? Okay? We're just taking the number 1,000 and making it an exponent. Okay? A power of 10.
What about the 600?
We're going to do that in just a minute. Okay? Then 2 would be what?
2.
2 times 10 to the second power. Now, this one is kind of confusing. Okay? I thought I had better notes on that. I was trying to explain this better. As you can see, if, let's say I had a 1 right here, just to help y'all understand this, okay? So, let's go on and do this one. What would it be? 1 times 10. Okay? 1 times 10 because it's in the 10 spot. And then 6 times 1, right? Okay, now, what is this one? Okay, well, let's go back to the powers. This one has 3 zeros, so we're doing 5 times 10 to the third. This one has 2 zeros, so we're doing 2 times 10 to the second. This one has 1 zero, so we're going to go 1 times 10 to the first power, which is just 10. Okay, and so what happens?
6 times 10 to the 0. 10 to
6
0.
times 10 to the 0. 10 to the 0 equals 1. You need to write that down. 10 to the 0 equals 1 whole. Or 1 whole equals 10 to the 0. Okay? That's kind of hard to understand unless you do it all the way and then it makes sense. Right? Okay, everybody good? Let's try another one.
Can we do this one on our own?
Try this one. 1760, and this is B on your lesson practice, so you will not have to perform that one. Do this one on your paper, just like we did here and then did here. I want you to do both ways. First, create it like this. Secondly, create it like that.
1760.
1760.
Okay, what do you do? Oh, you just leave the 0 in the 10.
Yep. Well, we'll see. Yes, Gracie.
Can I get my water bottle real quick? I just
Okay, I need somebody to come up here and do the expanded notation way, the very first way. Yes, Claire. Okay. Okay, and then I'll need somebody to come up here and do it using powers of 10. Expanded notation using, yeah, I'm sorry. You can just go under here if you need to. It's no big deal. I mean, no, I'm not saying go under, but if it goes down, then that's fine. I woke up with a sore throat this morning.
Did the tea help?
Yes, it did. I wish I could drink it all day. Because you know how warmth helps it.
No, you need to literally microwave bottles that you can buy 24 packs.
Yes, very good. Okay. Who would like to come and do it? I think Lane, I told him what. Okay. You're going to put it in expanded notation using powers of 10. That's how they say it. Write it in expanded notation using powers of 10. You can put it above it or below it. If you put it below it, then they won't be able to see it. Let's put it above it. Nope, let's put it above it. That way everybody can see what you're doing.
Would be 10 to the 1.
Okay, basically what you're doing, thank you, Lane. See? Okay, so you should have gotten 1 times 10 to the third power because there are how many zeros? 3. You should have gotten 7 times 10 to the second power because there are how many zeros? 2. You should have gotten 6 times 10 to the first power because there are how many zeros?
1.
Okay, if there was another number, let's just put a 3 here, then I would have done 3 times 1. And when I would put it up here, I would go 3 times 10, and how many zeros are there? 0. If that helps you, that helps me, okay? If that helps you, use it, okay? So there are no zeros down here, so we would have none up here. Got it? Okay, now let's quickly do this next part. Now we're going to learn how to multiply by powers of 10, okay, with decimal numbers. Okay, and this is really cool once you learn how to do this, to then do it on like a test or anytime something comes up in life. Okay, so for example, if I did 46.235, and I multiply that by 10 squared, or 10 to the power of 2, okay? Do y'all remember yesterday what I was telling, or gosh, that was last week sometime. First of all, what would this be? 10 to the second power is actually, if that helps you to write it out, that's fine, okay? And whenever you're multiplying, okay, what you can do is you can just move your decimal how many places? 2 places. And when you're multiplying, you move it to the right. When, write that down, when multiplying decimal numbers, you can move decimal to the right based on however many places there are, how many zeros there are. Okay? So if I was multiplying by 10 to the second power, that's actually 100. So I'm going to be moving my decimal how many places to the right?
2.
2. Okay? I just look at this, okay, and that means I'm going to move it 2. 1, 2. So my new number becomes 4623 decimal place 5. Got it, Lane? Math's not that funny. Okay?
He made fun.
He's making fun of me? What's up with that?
No, he made a funny face. I asked him
Okay.
a question. He made a funny face.
So, the new number is 4623 decimal place 5. Okay, does everybody feel like they understand? Try this one. This was a little bit harder. Do that one up at top.
I have a question.
Thank you. Okay.
Do you move it however, like, if there's a 4 on top, do you move it 4 decimal places?
Yes. Very good. Yep. So if it helps you to write out that 10 to the 4th power is actually 10,000 because there's 4 zeros, And then you would know to move it 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can just look at this and know that there are 4 places. So you're actually going to move this 4 times to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my new number becomes that. Does everybody see how I did that? 31,400. So I just took my decimal place that was right here and I moved it 4 places to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now my number is 314 and I had to fill these spots in with zeros. Everybody remember how we did that? Okay. Good job. Everybody feel like they got it? All right, try this one. This is on your lesson practice. 25 times 10 to the 6th power. Now, on this one, where is the decimal even though we cannot see it?
Behind the 5.
Always behind it. Even if you can't see it, it's always behind it. So what does it end up becoming? You should have gotten 25 decimals right here, and I'm going to move it how many spots to the right? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Add my commas in. And I get 25 million. Very good. Okay, now, they do not actually teach this in the lesson, but then they have it in your lesson practice.
I hate on it.
Okay, so for example, okay, 3.5 divided by 10 to the 4th. Now, a while ago, when we did multiplying, which way did I go?
Right.
To the right. So guess what?
You go to the left.
When you divide, you're going to go to the left. Okay, write that down. When you divide by powers of 10, you will move decimal place to the left. Okay? So on this one, what would happen?
Move it 4
We would move it 4 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. What would I do with these spots?
Zeros.
Put zeros in there. Very good. So our new number is now this. Okay? That's our answer.
35 100,000.
Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. 1,000, 100,000. Lane did it just right. Good job. You did. Yep. Okay. Now I could actually perform that problem. 3.5 divided by 10 to the 4th power, which would be 4 zeros, right?
Wait, was it 35 divided by 10 to the 4th?
Nope, 3.5.
Oh, 3. Okay.
Okay, and if I actually did that problem, 3.5 divided by 10,000, that's what we're doing. Much easier, isn't it, to do it this way, right? Okay. All right, last thing. We're going to write 2.5 billion in standard form. Then we're going to write it in exponential form. Okay? So 2.5 billion, what does that look like?
2 billion, 5 million? 2.5?
2.5 billion, what does that look like? You said it.
2 billion, 5
2 billion and then 500,000. Okay? Wait, did I say billion?
Yeah.
Billion. Sorry. Million. Okay, wait. Okay, let's try it again. 2 billion 500 million. Okay? Okay, so 2.5 billion. Okay? If it helps you to know that we're doing 2 billion, and then what is half of a billion? 500 million. Does everybody understand that? So that's where we get the 500. Half of a billion is 500 million. Everybody understand that? Okay, so when we write this, I want you to see what happens. Whenever they write this in exponential form, why am I having trouble with that today? Okay, what it ends up looking like is this. 2, you always put your decimal after the first non-zero number. So this is my first number, and it's not a 0. I always put my decimal after that. Okay? Now, times 10 to the, how many places did I go? 9. Okay, so watch what I did. 2.5 times 10 to the 9. I counted how many places were after the decimal. Okay? Watch me do this in standard form. If I had 2.5 times 10 to the 9, I would move it 9 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Put my commas in after I erase this. And I want you to see what happens. 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. What do I end up getting? I end up getting what I got up here. Okay? 2.5 billion. 2,500,000,000. Okay? So I basically just checked myself. Did I get this right? Yes, I did. Everybody see how we did that? Okay. Anybody else need anything else? I feel like you understand it. Good stuff? It's lesson 4.